Hi, I am Jan Reardon, and I am here representing the Jennifer Reardon Foundation. I am a board member, and the foundation was started by my brother in honor of my sister-in-law, who we are continuing her legacy in many wonderful ways, and her mantra of being kind, loving, caring, and sharing lives on in all of us, and actually throughout the Albuquerque community and here in Vermont. There's so many people that have come together, and we've been able to, hopefully promote many nonprofits that are doing amazing work throughout all of the communities that Jen has been a part of over the years. So under the circumstances, it just couldn't be better as far as being able to keep her spirit alive. So today I have the pleasure of introducing a couple of my guests. One is a dear friend, and the other person might become a dear friend by the sounds of it, and they're both representing the American Cancer Society as development managers and directors, and we are excited today to obviously introduce them, but also talk about all of the true strides that are being made in cancer research. There's an event that we'll talk about quite a bit today that I'm excited to learn more about myself, making strides against breast cancer. But just let me turn this over so we can get going, because there's all sorts of great information. So first of all, this is Lisa Fitzgerald. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Janet.
Hello,
so
nice
great
to
connect again with you.
Good to connect. And then it's so nice to meet with Hillary, and I just appreciate the fact that both of you are here, and coming from the development point of view, I just want to talk with you about different things that we can do to support your organization, all the great work that you're doing, the critical work that you're doing, and then also what we can find out more about volunteer opportunities and ways to make donations, and just to kind of get things going. So if it's okay to start, I'd like to talk with you, Hillary, and just a little bit more about your position and also just the history and the mission of the American Cancer Society, if you would, please.
Absolutely. So thank you for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
The American Cancer Society, I've been with them for 23 years.
Oh, that's fabulous. So that's longer than I realized.
Changes that I've seen
I can imagine.
Are truly incredible. And I remember growing up in a world where my grandmother had breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy, and nobody ever said the word cancer to me or my sister.
I believe that, yes.
We just knew one grandmother's body was different from the other grandmother's body. And
that's how it was.
Best hugs.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What a great memory.
I know. So fast forward, this really became my career. And so what we do in the fall is really focused on breast cancer.
Right.
But the mission of the American Cancer Society is to end cancer as we know it for everyone in every community.
Beautiful.
And that really touches in on health equity issues, because people's zip codes and financial status can determine whether they survive cancer or not.
Great point, Hillary. Really good. Yes. So, unfortunately, that's important to mention.
Yeah, so we do a lot of fundraising. I'm sure you see events that we're having all through Vermont.
You're pros at events too. When there's an event, it's not only fun, but you can feel the impact too, which is wonderful.
We do a lot of policy work as well. So just things like 20 years ago, you'd walk into a Burlington bar and people would be puffing away on a cigarette. That's not happening anymore.
Exactly.
And a lot of that was because of the advocacy work that we do. And as the political landscape is shifting, we really need to be advocating to make sure people have access to affordable health insurance and that they're keeping up to date on cancer screening.
Right.
So one of the things that I've learned, there are some people who don't get a mammogram because they don't have insurance, and they don't want to know, because if they find out they have breast cancer, there's not much they can do.
I've heard that. There was something on the Today Show about that just a few weeks ago. The fear, one, the financial piece,
right,
and then the fear, even for people that do have insurance, they still are reluctant because it's the fear of going, whereas, as you'll I'm sure talk about, the sooner the better, certainly in cancer more than even other diseases, but you can't wait. It's like, obviously that schedule of mammograms means so much.
It really does, and I know people think in terms of breast cancer and pink, they think in terms of women, but men get breast cancer too. So I would say if there's a man who's watching or a man in any of our lives, so glad you brought that up. If you feel any sort of change in the breast area, go talk to your doctor.
Thank you for saying that, because I did lose a male friend to breast cancer, and you don't think of that until it happens, and then you realize it's fairly prevalent.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you for letting me share all of that.
Oh, no, that's great. And then we'll come right back to you here, Hillary, but Lisa, if you can talk a little bit about the event that you have for making strides against breast cancer this fall, that would be wonderful just to have people be aware of that now and plenty of time to sign up.
Yes, yes. As Hillary was saying, that is our premier event in the fall. So we have Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. The event takes place Sunday, October 5th, and it's at Veterans Memorial Park in South Burlington.
Where is that exactly?
It's right off of Dorset Street.
Oh, okay.
And the dog park's there and Carnes Arena.
Right,
so
right.
most people are pretty familiar, and we do a loop.
And how far is the walk?
I believe it is.
It's a 5K.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
a 5K.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful. That time of year especially.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have all kinds of great signage lining up the road so people will see it a week ahead of time.
Great.
Right now we're working together on putting out teams and creating teams. There's so many different ways people can participate. We're spreading the word right now to companies, friends, family, coworkers. There's so many ways you can join and participate. You can form a team. You can join an existing team. You can be a participant of one if that's what you choose to do. There's volunteer opportunities, lots of them for the day of.
Oh, good.
Companies, if they want to donate as a sponsorship. Smaller businesses, if they want to donate to our basket raffle. There's so many different ways to get involved.
And how would they find out about those opportunities for them specifically? Like, say, if it is a company, do they reach out to you?
Right.
What should they do if they were interested in volunteering, for instance?
Right. We've got a lot of information online. Probably the best way is to go to the website, Northern Vermont Strides.
Okay.
That will give you all kinds of really helpful information, how to volunteer, how to form a team, how to sign up.
Oh, good.
And what's really exciting, once you read the site, and if you are to sign up to form a team, all kinds of information about how to fundraise and really fun activities you can do and networking. So there's a lot of resources, but it really is a wonderful day. It brings the community together, courage and hope and ending breast cancer. It's just camaraderie. It's just a very exciting event, inspirational. Right now we are trying to grow it. It's Chittenden County, but we certainly welcome people from the St. Albans area, Addison County, all over, and that's what we're doing right now, spreading the word and getting out and letting people know.
So, for instance, if I wanted to form a team, I would be like a captain, and then, so I recruit people, and is there a fundraising goal that's set, or do they determine what they want for themselves?
It truly, our teams can decide. There's no registration fee for Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. And some of our teams raise a ton of money, and some of our teams raise what they can.
Sure, that's wonderful.
And then we have a ton of walkers who come to the event who maybe haven't fundraised, but we have some revenue enhancers at the event. So they could purchase a pinwheel in honor or memory of somebody.
Oh, how nice.
We have a little store with some pink branded merchandise, and we have some food and take donations for that. So everyone is welcome. And the reality is this event took a big hit during COVID.
Oh, I can imagine.
So we had to pivot, and we did a drive-through event at the
How brilliant is that? Oh, I love it.
The movie theater out in Colchester.
Amazing.
So that was fun, but you may remember from your development days,
yes.
Once you lose some momentum,
oh, it takes a long time to get back to that same trajectory of, having things kind of be, autopilot for some, and then add to that, you have to rebuild that foundation. So I respect where you're coming from, absolutely. But what is the history of Making Strides Against Breast Cancer? When did it actually?
I'm so glad you asked.
Perfect. Oh, good.
So Making Strides Against Breast Cancer is 41 years old.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Not in Vermont. It was started by a woman named Martha in Boston. And so that's really the flagship Making Strides event in the Northeast and in the country. So Strides grew a little bit. We had the one in Boston, we had Manchester, New Hampshire. It wasn't until about 2011 when I was working in Vermont and I was seeing Strides events, and I asked my manager, why don't we have one?
I love it. Thank you.
And he said, that we have
that the population or
there are other breast cancer walks. We don't want to intrude on their space. I went to a few in New Hampshire and came back and said,
we're doing this. I love it. Oh, thank you. And that's what it takes, That's beautiful.
And so a lot of people in the community will know the name Amy Devitt. So she still works for us. She started that event. And
in 2011, or was it?
In 2012 was our first year.
Actually, and was it at the same Veterans Park. It's been there ever since.
Except the driving there.
Exactly, which was a nice twist.
So we really just took a deep breath and said, we're going to start this event. And we were out talking to anybody who would listen. And so the first year was so great. I think we had sun and maybe some snow and the foliage.
Has it always been in the fall?
It has been, yes. And it's just grown ever since then. And then pandemic happened, and so now we're so fortunate to have Lisa working on the team because
she is a rock star.
We want to get more people to the event.
Absolutely, I love it.
And I just wanted to touch on that. That is what we were doing, grassroots. I mean, I just talked to Burlington Fire Department
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
I love it.
Every opportunity.
When I pulled in and saw, I'm like, "There's Lisa. I know what she's talking about."
But it's we want to get other. Community involvement. I mean, the fire department plays a huge role in our communities with safety and involvement, and they do all types of fundraisers. They shared with me that one of their members' mom had cancer recently. So there's so many ways to tie things in. The other touch point, which I think is going to be wonderful, is the schools. We've worked with the schools. Obviously, schools starting colleges this week. Regular schools start next week. So we're going to tap into the schools. We'd really like to grow that as well.
Great idea.
Whether it's, high schools, National Honor Society, Student Council, awareness groups, whatever. So many high schools have different avenues we can tap into.
And so many schools, thankfully, now are about community service.
Yes.
And how great it is, obviously, to meet the goals and accomplish the goals, to be able to hopefully diminish the numbers that exist for, people with cancer. But also what I just love about it is, when you do something like that, as we know through obviously ourselves and the Kindness Connection, you just feel so good when you do something, when you volunteer, when you're a part of something like that. Mm-hmm. It's so twofold. I mean, you benefit that organization, number one, and then you're also feeling so good about yourself, and it keeps you wanting to do more for others. And that in itself is just certainly something throughout those school years that really makes a difference in kids for their future.
Yes.
Definitely.
The importance of that.
Yeah, and companies as well. I'm out doing outreach to various companies too, and sometimes you reach out and it takes 1, 2, 3 calls, but I've already talked to people. People want to give back. Sometimes the key is they've just never been asked. So I think it's just getting out there, social media, boots on the ground. It's just asking. Sometimes that's all it is. People just want to know more. How can I help your organization? How can I be involved?
Right.
So we're trying to spread that word various ways.
That's wonderful. And as we know, and I've said it on the show before, Vermont has more nonprofits per capita than any state in the United States. So that adds to, the challenge. Right. But then again, you would know better than I do. And I'd love to talk to you about, obviously, all forms of cancer as well as breast cancer, but again, how things have evolved and things are improving. Even though we have a long way to go, there has been so many significant improvements in different things through testing and outcomes. And I'd love to talk with you, Hillary, if you could talk about, some of the correct wording and everything around that. But I don't know what the exact stat is. If you could just share, how many people, I had heard 1 out of 3 people that probably have been touched by some form of cancer, either themselves or certainly somebody that they know and love. So even though we have so many nonprofits in the state of Vermont, it's hard to find somebody that can't just embrace the need to do things around the American Cancer Society. So I really am so thankful for the work that you're doing and appreciate every bit of it. But if you could give us a little bit more of that background on how far we've come, Hillary, that would be wonderful.
I can. So way back in the dark ages, the American Cancer Society was the first organization that endorsed mammography. And now it's the gold standard, along with ultrasound. But, if we think back 30 years, it was not happening.
No, it wasn't even something the doctor said, this is what you need to do. And what is right now is, what are what's the time frame? So once a year, if...
It varies. So we really tell women and men to check with their doctors.
Okay.
So if you're a woman or man who's 45 and you don't have a close family member who's had breast cancer, 45 is the year to start.
Okay.
And sometimes insurance companies will only cover every 2 years. If there's ever any sign of finding, then it's a different, then you're covered. But also, if you're 32 and you feel something that doesn't feel right, call your doctor, because the key to curing breast cancer in each of us is finding it early.
Absolutely.
And so breast self-exam, I know, was like a huge recommendation for many years. It's really not anymore, because people who are younger sometimes just have hormonal changes that cause changes in the tissue. And so a lot of those, it would just make you panic, run to the doctor, and it was really nothing. So breast self-exam is not the
Interesting,
gold
and I hadn't
standard.
heard that, right?
Yeah.
That's good information.
Mammography is.
Right.
And with breast cancer, we have a couple of classifications. So with the American Cancer Society, the minute you are diagnosed with cancer, you're a cancer survivor. Within the breast cancer community, metastatic breast cancer, which means cancer that will live in your body until you pass away. So metastatic cancer patients are called thrivers.
Okay.
And then there's a third classification, people who have a family history of triple negative breast cancer, who might just end up having all of their breast tissue removed
Yes.
as a preventive message. So we've got survivors, we've got thrivers, and we've got previvers.
Wonderful, because I was not familiar with survivors, obviously, but the other, two names. So that's really good to share that and be more familiar with just the changes that are taking place in the work that you're doing.
Well, and truly, I meet so many people who say, well, I was diagnosed with cancer 3 months ago and I'm still in treatment, so don't call me a survivor. And our
Because
view
you say
is
right away you're starting to survive.
Absolutely.
Yes. Great. Let me just take a look here and see if there's, kind of going back to the event too, Lisa, if we could talk about, what is the goal? How many people do you, foresee attending this year as you're rebuilding?
So I believe our goal is to have 40 teams. Right now we're halfway
Wonderful.
there. So
Fantastic.
Everybody listening, we need some more teams, and it's almost September. The back to school gets everybody kind of in gear. Start thinking about this.
Right.
So again, you set your own goal. It can be small, it could be large. You can be a one-person team, you can be a 20-person team. Get your friends, get your coworkers, get your family. You can make it really fun. I mean, wear some really fun outfits. Jan, I know you know how to do that. I can
I'll get a new mohawk.
I'll get you a pink and white
one
mohawk and a tutu.
Just cash in the green, go with the pink.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you make of it, and I just think it's a great community event.
I'm sure there's music. It must be really festive.
There's music, there's food, there's a barbecue.
Oh, how nice. What time does it start?
Registration's at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And the walk itself starts at 12.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
So there's so many great things that are going on there, and it's just a really fun day, and it's in your community, and we welcome people, like I said, from Chittenden County, but certainly from
Start to
St.
branch out to
Albans
other
area,
counties,
Addison
right.
County, surrounding towns.
And they don't have walks in those counties at this time.
They do not. So we welcome people from all over.
That's what's nice about Vermont. We're so close. We can really, you're here, and, top to bottom, 3 hours, so you can't be too far to attend a fun
come for
event.
the day. Make it a day. Stay for the whole day. And
Exactly.
October 5th, as we know in Vermont, can be sunny, cold, rainy, shiny.
Or it could be snowing, as you said it has in the past.
But we know it's going to be a nice sunny day.
Oh, it's going to be, just like today.
Yes.
Exactly.
It really is a joyful event. I think sometimes people, if they've had a recent loss, they might be afraid to come to an event.
Very
because
emotional.
It'll be really raw. But there's such a spirit of camaraderie and sisterhood and brotherhood and
the inspiration to understand, what it's like to go through that. You can imagine, but you don't know unless if, you or someone that you really love has dealt with that or is dealing with that. So, it serves so many purposes really to attend the event psychologically too for you, I would imagine.
Definitely. So have you ever heard of our Hope Lodge here in Burlington?
That's what I wanted to ask you about, because I think, like then you have Relay for Life. There's so many different, areas that thankfully focus in. So if you could talk a little bit about the Hope Lodge. I just heard so many wonderful things about the Hope Lodge. And when was that built?
It was built in, I'm having to do my math.
Yeah.
I think we opened the doors in 2008.
Right.
So
I thought it
the
was,
hospital let us use a little ranch house that was farther down on East Ave that had 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, stairs. It was inaccessible to anybody who needed assistance.
Sure.
So 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms when you've got people in cancer treatment, not ideal. So we underwent a capital campaign. The hospital was amazing. They leased us that land for, I think, 100 years. And so the Hope Lodge is truly a haven for people who are undergoing cancer treatment who live more than 40 miles from Burlington. So we have a lot of guests who come from upstate New York. I live near Bristol, Vermont. I know people from Bristol and our area who are able to stay at Hope Lodge.
So how many people can stay there now, Hillary?
We have 17 suites, so it's typically one guest, and they can bring a caregiver with them.
Oh, that is fabulous.
Oh, it's so, I mean, we welcome anybody. We want to give tours. We have also launched a new program through Hope Lodge called Empower, and it really invites our local cancer community into the lodge for things like nutrition counseling, support groups, gentle movement.
That's fabulous.
Just really looking at all of those pillars that make people even healthier.
Right. And I am on the board of the Vermont Cancer Support Network. And and I'm so thrilled to be a part of that organization. And we do a lot, really, you know, grassroots, where, you know, people that need gas cards or some food, you know, delivered and things like that. So it's the day-to-day and thinking about the impact on a family when that diagnosis is given. It obviously is not just the person. I mean, the support that comes around them needs support too, along with the person. So that's what's so beautiful about something like the Hope Lodge, where you can bring your caregiver with you and you can come from all over. And then how does that differ from the lodge that's in Colchester?
So that is the respite house, and so we work really closely with them.
Very nice.
So sometimes if a patient is transitioning out of treatment and not going home, we then partner with hospice.
So that's such, as you say, the transition itself is nice on so many levels of communication.
Definitely.
And the resources that we have available and that are shared even through Vermont Cancer Support Network too. I mean, it's really just to be a conveyor of all of those different resources that are available, thankfully, right here in Vermont.
Well, and it's really interesting that you shared about the financial impact for families. So the American Cancer Society, for many years, we tried to be everything to everybody. And about 5 years ago, we really sat down and said, what are the biggest areas of impact? And we focused on access to treatment for our patients, which includes transportation. If I live in Bristol and I need to get back and forth and my husband's busy, how do I do that?
Sure.
And then lodging. So we have Hope Lodges in Boston, Burlington, and Manhattan as our closest lodges, but we also have...
And you coordinate, there's communication between those lodges?
Gosh,
Oh, that's fabulous.
There are 34 across the country. Our newest one is Honolulu, which opened. I was like, can I go?
I was going to say, do they need to?
They said I could watch it on Teams, which is great.
Sure, right. Oh, that's beautiful.
So we make grants to local hospitals for transportation because we figured out that's the best way. The hospital knows their patients. They know, oh, so-and-so said he's going to skip treatment because he doesn't have a ferry pass this week. So the hospital takes that grant and they distribute it to patients in need. And then with the Hope Lodge, it's free lodging. Most evenings we have volunteers or restaurants who come in and donate meals. So people can have, communion together with a red, nice, healthy meal.
Oh, that's even more than I realized.
Oh, and then they're just open spaces, because what we don't want is for somebody to come to the lodge, leave for 10 minutes a day for treatment at the hospital, come back and then sit in their room. Some people, if they want to rest, that's great.
Right.
But we have common areas.
There's options. Oh, that's...
Television, like sometimes when the big sports games are on, there are a ton of people packed in the TV room.
Love it.
We have a gathering room where there's always a jigsaw puzzle going and a harp. So we really want it to be that community.
As you said, joyous. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better way to have to go through that whole process for you and for your family too, and to take some of the stress away, to know that those resources are in place and that communication is taking place, for somebody to know that I don't have a ferry pass and to be able to work that out. Talk about peace of mind. That is just fabulous.
We also have a program, sorry, Stephanie,
okay.
called Road to Recovery, where we have volunteer drivers who take people to and from treatment.
Oh, I'd like to find out a little bit more about that.
If you want to volunteer
I used to be
as
an
a
Uber
driver.
driver.
Yeah, a driver.
Yeah, so I would love to find out more about that.
I was going to just touch on that. We have so many different programs. I mean, what I just learned in training, our 1-800 number.
Which is what, if you would, yes.
What is it?
It's 1-800
224
227 2345.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. And again, you know, the website will have everything too.
What's so incredible about that number, and I learned that in training,
Yes.
you can call that number 24 hours a day, and it is staffed by a live person. So if you are
any number you can call and have somebody live anymore, so that's beautiful in
and if you're a
itself.
cancer patient and you wake up in the middle of the night
exactly.
and you're
That's
anxious,
when you need
have
somebody,
questions
right.
and you don't know who to ask, or you just don't know, and you're stressing, you can pick up that phone and call, and we will give you that support and really help you
And
through
that just
it.
makes you breathe differently. Like, just you saying that, you just feel like, oh, it's comforting just to know somebody's out there and they can listen no matter what time of day. That's unheard of in this day and age.
That's what the Cancer Society does with
Yeah.
all our events. I mean, we've got Relay
Embrace
for Life in June. It's
people.
We're giving people support. You know, you're not out there by yourself. We are a
Yeah,
community.
you make
We're
that
gonna
very
help you.
clear. Right.
And I think that's important.
Absolutely. How about tonight, Lisa? What do you have going on over at the Back Nine?
So tonight, people in the area, Back Nine, it used to be Pizza Put.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I haven't been there since my kids were little.
I know.
So
I was thinking, my son always called it, can we go, which we did, it seemed like a lot, but Pita Putt.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I like, yeah.
so many birthday parties there.
Oh, exactly.
So it's now a golf simulation
Yes,
place.
yeah, Back Nine.
So we've got a kickoff from 6:30 to 8:30 tonight. So anybody that wants to come and learn about the Making Strides for Walk.
And that's
breast
Airport
cancer-
Parkway, right?
Yes, Airport
Yes.
Parkway. So it's a comfortable space. It's casual. You can do the golf simulator. There's a cash bar. There's free snacks.
Very nice.
But we're going to have some of our team members there, our committee members. So if you had a question, how do I form a team? How do I
So
volunteer?
this is really the kickoff for Making Strides Against Breast Cancer.
Yes, it's a kickoff
Wonderful.
for that, and a way for people to come and learn information. You know,
Exactly.
I've been talking to you. Well, I want to come and talk to a real person who's done it. I want to talk to a
Fabulous.
team leader. I want to see, where can I volunteer? You know, can I work in the survivor tent? Can I
Right,
help with
right.
the
There's so
barbecue?
many opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's just a casual, fun way to come learn more and hit some golf balls if you want.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds great. Let me just see what else I have on here too. Is there anything else that you'd like to be sure that people are aware of that has changed over time that is just important information to be aware of as a community member?
Well, I will share this. So our friend Joe Carroll at WCAX
Yes.
recently revealed that he is undergoing treatment for prostate cancer.
Yes.
And his message that I've seen a lot on social media and that he has shared with me is that men need to get the digital exam. Don't rely on a blood test.
Oh, good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
I want to
Yes.
share that because, Joe is passionate about it. But and I do think a lot of men, definitely my husband, he doesn't go to the doctor until something is really bad.
Right.
Just go. Find out. Say, am I on track with my cancer screening? We need to be thinking about screening for colon cancer.
Sure. Right.
Breast cancer. If people were smokers for a while, there is a screening for lung cancer now.
Okay.
And so if they're curious about that, they can talk with their healthcare provider to learn more. Insurance coverage is pretty good for people in like the right target group.
Right.
And then another thing that the American Cancer Society is doing is we've launched a 30-year study of Black women's health. And so we are recruiting women of color for this.
Wonderful.
Because the statistics for women of color surviving breast cancer
Yes.
are drastically lower than white
That's
women.
what I've heard, right.
And so we are trying to figure out
Fabulous.
the why.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that. And, it's the same with heart disease, too. Everything is so different. So it's fabulous that that research is taking place.
Yes, and then I'll get on my prevention platform.
Please do.
Don't vape, don't smoke,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Well, that's the part that really, is so challenging to not get frustrated with when you see the younger generation vaping, and now it's, even people, later on in their years too. And here we've come so far from smoking, and now smoking isn't even as bad, they say, as with the damage that the vape does to your lungs. So it's even worse.
I know.
And
we have no long-term studies.
right.
And so
But they've shown, just pictures of lungs and the lung disease in a 5-year period of time, how it compares to somebody, and certainly we don't want to go backwards and have people smoking, but to think that the message finally got out there, people did such a good job of, getting the word out there and people being aware and labeling everything, and you felt badly for people that didn't know back in the day just how bad it was. Well, we know now, and to go ahead and start something like that could become addicting to you, like, just don't do it.
I know. Well, truly, the tobacco companies started seeing the writing on the wall because there was a lot of anti-tobacco messaging. So a couple of generations just grew up not starting to smoke.
Right.
And then, there's your market. You got it. So vaping became the replacement.
place of that. You're right.
And I do think people think it's a safer alternative.
Exactly. And it's worse.
It's not great. So
I'm glad you brought that up. Good. Yeah, exactly.
Also, sun safety. Vermont has the highest melanoma rate in the country.
Who would think, right?
Right, because on a day like today,
we're not thinking anything. We're just like, yay, we could be out there, right?
Right. So just put on that sunscreen. If people are going to the fair this weekend, slap some on. The health department will be there with sunscreen dispensers. So
very nice. I like that.
Don't bring it.
It's a good key point, right? People just don't think about it. I think that's an overlooked.
Definitely. It's not like anybody objects to it. You're just not thinking of it.
It's more common than we think. I've talked to people recently.
Yes.
It really is more common, and I need to be careful.
Right. So I can't thank both of you enough, obviously, for the work that you're doing, but for being here, with us today for the Kindness Connection is fabulous. We'll do our best to spread the word, and certainly I'd like to get as involved as possible in different areas myself, too. But I really have enjoyed getting to hear a little bit more about the work that's being done and how bright the future looks. So thank you both. It takes special people to do the work that you're doing, and certainly to be so passionate in the years that you've been involved. Hillary is just fabulous. So I appreciate the history on that. And then Lisa, obviously it's great to know that you're in such a great position, win-win for you and for the organization. It's a wonderful fit.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us today. I love partnering with you. Your organization is great if we can give back.
Oh, absolutely. Just
kindness and sharing. The world needs more of that.
That's for sure. Very thankful to be a part of that. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.
Okay.